Good morning, students. We were studying about chapter number 13. We had already studied about abiotic factors. Now we will study about the response of the organisms to these factors. Having realized that abiotic condition of many habitats may vary drastically in time, we now ask how do the organisms live in such habitats, cope or manage with stressful conditions. But before attempting to this answer, we should perhaps ask first why a highly variable external environment should bother organisms after all. One would expect that during the course of millions of years of their existence, many species would have evolved a relatively constant internal, that is that within their body environment, which permits all the biochemical reactions and physiological processes to proceed with maximal efficiency and thus enhance the overall fitness of the species. This constancy, for example, could be in terms of optimal temperature and osmotic concentration of body fluids. Ideally, then, the organism should try to maintain the constancy of its internal environment, a process known as homeostasis, despite varying the external environmental condition that tend to upset its homeostasis. Let us take an analogy to clarify this important concept. Suppose a person is able to perform his or her best when the temperature is 25 degree Celsius and wishes to maintain it so even when it is scorchingly hot or freezingly cold outside. It could be achieved at home, in the car, while traveling, and at workplace by using an air conditioner in summer and heater in winter. Then his or her performance would be always maximal regardless of weather around him or her. Here, the person's homeostasis is accomplished not through physiological but artificial means. How do other living organisms cope with this situation? Let us look at the various possibilities. First is regulate. Some organisms are able to maintain homeostasis by physiological means which ensures constant body temperature, constant osmotic concentration, etc. All birds and mammals and a very few lower vertebrates and invertebrate are indeed capable of such regulation known as thermoregulation and osmoregulation. Evolutionary biologists believe that the success of mammals is largely due to their ability to maintain the constant body temperature and thrive whether they live in Antarctica or in Sahara Desert, most cold and most hot region. The mechanism used by most mammals to regulate their body temperature are similar to the ones that we humans use. We maintain a constant body temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. In summer, when outside temperature is more than our body temperature, we sweat profusely. The resulting evaporative cooling, similar to what happens with the desert cooler in operation, brings down the body temperature. In winter, when the temperature is much lower than the 37 degrees Celsius, we start to shiver, a kind of exercise which produces heat and raises the body temperature. Plants, on the other hand, do not have such mechanisms to maintain their internal temperatures. Next possibility is conform. An overwhelming majority, 99% of animals and nearly all plants, cannot maintain a constant internal environment. Their body temperature changes with the ambient temperature. In aquatic animals, the osmotic concentration of the body fluids change with that of ambient air, water osmotic concentration. These animals and plants are simply conformers. Considering the benefits of a constant internal environment to the organism, we must ask why these conformers had not evolved to become regulators. Recall the human analogy we used above. Much as they like, how many people can really afford an air conditioner? Many simply sweat it out and resign themselves to suboptimal performance in hot summer month. Thermoregulation is energetically expensive for many organisms. This is particularly true for small animals like shrews and hummingbirds. Heat loss or heat gain is a function of surface area. Since small animals have a larger surface area relative to their volume, they tend to lose body heat very fast when it is cold outside. Then they have to expend much energy to generate body heat through metabolism. This is the main reason why very small animals are rarely found in polar region. During the course of evolution, the cost and the benefit of maintaining a constant internal environment are taken into consideration. Some species have evolved the ability to regulate, but only over a limited range of environmental condition, beyond which they simply conform, that is, change themselves. If a stressful external condition are localized or remain only for a short duration, the organism has two other alternatives: migrate or suspend. Migrate. The organism can move away temporarily from the stressful habitat to a more hospitable area and return when the stressful period is over. In human analogy, this strategy is like a person moving from Delhi to Shimla for duration of summer. Many animals, particularly birds, during the winter undertake a long distance migration to more hospitable area. Every winter, the famous Kyolado National Park, Bharatpur in Rajasthan, hosts thousands of migratory birds coming from Siberia and other extremely cold northern regions. Suspend. In bacteria, fungi, and lower plants, various kinds of thick walled spores are formed, which help them to survive unfavorable conditions. These germinate on availability of suitable environment. In higher plants, seeds and some other vegetative reproductive structures serve as means to tide over, that is, to survive over periods of stress beside helping in dispersal. They germinate to form new plants under favorable conditions like moisture and temperature. They do so by reducing their metabolic activity and going into a state of dormancy, that is, a state of inactive. In animals, the organism, if unable to migrate, might avoid the stress by escaping in time. The familiar case of bears going into hibernation during winter is an example of escape in time. Some snails and fish go into estivation to avoid summer related problems, heat, and desiccation. Desiccation means dry up. Under unfavorable condition, many zooplankton species in lakes and ponds are known to enter a diapause, that is, a stage of suspended development. Here is a figure representing the organismic response: internal level, external level. When it is constant, then they are regulators. When it increases, they are conformers. When they increase and then become constant, they are partial regulators. So these are the different responses that an organism can give in the changed environmental conditions. Adaptations. While considering the various alternatives available to organism for coping with the extremes in their environment, we have seen that some are able to respond through certain physiological adjustments, while do so behaviorally, migrating temporarily to the less stressful habitat that we have seen in the last topic. These responses are also actually their adaptations. So, we can say that adaptation is any attribute of the organism, that is morphological, physiological, behavioral, that enables the organism to survive and reproduce in its habitat. Many adaptations have evolved over a long evolutionary time and are genetically fixed. In the absence of an external source of water, the kangaroo rat in North American desert is capable of meeting all its needs through its internal fat oxidation, in which water is a byproduct. It also has the ability to concentrate its urine so that minimal volume of water is used to remove the excretory products. Many desert plants have a thick cuticle on their leaf surface and have their stomata arranged in deep pits to minimize water loss through transpiration. They also have a special photosynthetic pathway, CAM, crustacean acid metabolism, that enables their stomata to remain closed during daytime. Some desert plants, like Opuntia, have no leaves. They are reduced to spines, and the photosynthetic function is taken over by the flattened, thick green stems. Mammals from colder climates generally have shorter ears and limbs to minimize heat loss. This is called Allen's rule. In the polar seas, aquatic mammals like seals have a thick layer of fat, that is blubber, below their skin that act as an insulator and reduces loss of body heat. Some organisms possess adaptations that are physiological, which allow them to respond quickly in a stressful situation. If you have ever been to any high altitude place that is greater than 3500 meter, Rohtang Pass near Manali and Leh, you must have experienced what is called altitude sickness. Its symptoms include nausea, fatigue, and heart palpitation. This is because in the low atmospheric pressure of high altitudes, the body does not get enough oxygen. But gradually you get acclimatized and stop experiencing altitude sickness. How did your body solve this problem? The body compensates low oxygen availability by increasing red blood cell production, decreasing the blinding affinity of the hemoglobin, and by increasing breathing rate. Many tribes live in the high altitude of Himalayas. Find out if they normally have a higher red blood cell count or total hemoglobin than the people living in the plains. Hence, they appear reddish in their complexion. In most animals, the metabolic reaction and hence all the physiological function proceed optimally in a narrow temperature range. In human, it is 37 degrees Celsius. But there are microbes, archaebacteria, that flourish in hot water springs and deep sea hydrothermal vents where temperatures far exceed 100 degrees Celsius. How it is possible? They have the enzymes that can work at that high temperature. Many fish thrive in Antarctic waters where the temperature is always below zero. How do they manage to prevent their body fluids from freezing? A large variety of marine invertebrates and fish live at great depths in the ocean, where the pressure could be more than 100 times the normal atmospheric pressure that we experience. How do they live under such high pressures, and do they have any special enzyme? Organisms living in such extreme environments show a fascinating array of biochemical adaptations. Some organisms show behavioral responses to cope up with the variation in the environment. Desert lizards lack the physiological ability that mammals have to deal with the high temperature of their habitat, but it manages to keep their body temperature fairly constant by behavioral means. They bask in the sun and absorb heat when their body temperature drops below the comfort zone, but move into shade when the ambient temperature starts increasing. Some species are capable of burrowing into the soil to hide and escape from the above ground heat. These are all the adaptations which are made by the organisms to cope up with the changed environmental conditions.